Welcome, dear listeners, to another episode of Selfie Story. We have a spine-chilling tale ready to unfold before you today. We urge you to put on your headphones, turn off the lights, and step into an immersive world of storytelling. Picture this: it's a cool December night. The world is quiet and the air is filled with the faint scent of pine and the distant jingle of holiday carols. Families are huddled together, decorating their Christmas trees, their homes aglow with warmth and joy. The streets outside are adorned with twinkling lights, painting a picturesque scene of peace and harmony. As the clock strikes midnight, people retreat into their homes, bidding each other goodnight, oblivious to the fact that this is the calm before the storm. Little do they know, this serene night is the precursor to a dawn like no other. A dawn that will change everything they've ever known. As they lay their heads on their pillows, their dreams filled with visions of Christmas morning, an unforeseen event is about to shatter the tranquility. So brace yourselves. The storm is coming, and it's coming fast. Imagine waking up to absolute silence, a silence so profound it's eerie. Picture a morning where the usual hum of electricity is replaced by a void, a stillness that seems to hang in the air. It's unsettling, disconcerting, and you can't quite put your finger on what's wrong. But you know, deep down, something is. Something big. You reach for your phone, seeking solace in the familiar glow of the screen. But it doesn't turn on. The battery isn't dead, it's more than that. The device itself seems lifeless, as though some unseen force has drained it of its very essence. You're cut off, isolated, and the feeling of unease begins to grow. In the darkness, you fumble for the light switch, but there's no comforting flood of light, just an echoing click that serves as a stark reminder of the power outage. The house is a shell, devoid of the energy that once filled it. You're alone in a home that feels foreign, and the sense of dread is palpable. Your heart pounds in your chest as you move to the window, pulling back the curtain to reveal a scene that's both ordinary and extraordinary at the same time. It's a typical December morning, the world outside adorned with holiday decorations, the remnants of a normality that seems to have slipped away overnight. Yet, there's a distinct lack of Christmas lights, their usual twinkling replaced by an eerie darkness that seems to have swallowed the neighborhood whole. And then, you see them, your neighbors, standing on their front porches, peering through windows, their faces a mirror of your own confusion. But they aren't looking at you. They're looking up at the sky, their eyes wide with a mix of fear and awe. Outside, people stood in their front yards, their faces turned upwards. It was as though the stars themselves were falling. The heavens were ablaze, a spectacle of fire and a sight so surreal it defied reality. It was as if the sky had been torn open, and through that tear, a cascade of fire and metal rained down. The once serene and familiar celestial bodies were replaced by a chaotic display of falling satellites and space debris. Each piece that plummeted to Earth was like a fiery star, leaving a streak of brilliant light in its wake. It was a rain of fire, a celestial storm, a spectacle that was both terrifying and awe-inspiring. The protagonists stood rooted to the spot, their gaze transfixed on the fiery spectacle unfolding above. A sense of awe engulfed them, a feeling so profound that it dwarfed any fear of the unknown. The world as they knew it was changing before their very eyes, and all they could do was stand and watch in stunned silence. This was not a scene from a dystopian film or a science fiction novel. It was a reality that was hard to grasp, a reality that was as bewildering as it was frightening. Yet, amidst the fear and confusion, there was a strange sense of fascination. It was as if they were witnessing the birth of a new universe, a cosmic dance of fire and destruction that was both mesmerizing and terrifying. The sight of the falling debris was enough to stir a sense of impending doom, but what followed was something even more unexpected. As the last of the fiery debris fell, the sky began to change. It was no longer a canvas of black and fiery orange, but a canvas painted with hues of green, blue, and purple. It was the aurora borealis, a phenomenon usually reserved for the darkest nights in the coldest regions. But here it was, in broad daylight, a spectacle of shimmering colors that seemed to dance and flicker across the sky. It was a sight that was as beautiful as it was surreal, a sight that seemed to offer a glimmer of hope amidst the chaos. And then, amidst the chaos, the beauty of the aurora borealis painted the midday sky. A glance at the calendar, and a date that once held no significance suddenly seemed ominous. A flickering sense of familiarity, a vague recollection, the 21st of December, 2012. A date that was once just another day on the calendar, now held the weight of the world. It was a date that had been whispered about in hushed tones, speculated upon in online forums, and even sensationalized by Hollywood. Yet, in the humdrum of daily life, it had been forgotten, relegated to the back of the mind, deemed as nothing more than a myth or a conspiracy theory. But now, as burning debris rained from the heavens, and an ethereal display of the aurora borealis painted the midday sky, the forgotten prophecy resurfaced. The Mayan calendar, the ancient civilization that had so accurately tracked the celestial bodies and their movements, had predicted an end that coincided with this very date. The prophecy foretold of a cataclysmic event that would bring about the end of times, a reset of sorts, and here we were, witnessing the unthinkable. The protagonist, like the rest of the world, had dismissed these theories as fantastical tales spun by doomsday enthusiasts. Yet, standing there, amidst the falling satellites and the eerie silence, it was hard to ignore the chilling accuracy of the prophecy. The realization was like a punch in the gut, the significance of the date hitting home. The protagonist's mind raced, the adrenaline pumping through their veins, making it hard to think. They tried to recall the details of the prophecy, the specific events that were foretold. The pieces of the puzzle were there, lurking in the recesses of their mind, but the shock of the current events made it hard to put it all together. The world held its breath, waiting, watching, as the prophecy unfolded before their very eyes. A prophecy forgotten by many, remembered by few, and understood by even fewer. Just as the memory began to surface, the world plunged into darkness. In an instant, everything went black. The world as we knew it ceased to exist. The taste of normalcy, the humdrum of everyday life, was snuffed out like a candle flame in a gust of wind. The once familiar world was now a silhouetted ghost town, an echo of a time that once was. Our protagonist, let's call him John, had been living a life of routine, but in the blink of an eye, he found himself thrust into an existence that was anything but. The initial shock was paralyzing. The silence was deafening, the darkness impenetrable. The only hint of life was the rhythmic thud of his own heartbeat, drumming in his ears. But fear, as it often does, quickly gave way to a primal instinct: survival. John was no longer a mere spectator in the theater of life. He was now the lead actor in a dystopian drama, the script of which was being written by the very seconds ticking away in the abyss. In the ensuing darkness, John groped around, his hands becoming his eyes. He stumbled upon a flashlight, its beam cutting through the darkness like a beacon of hope. He found canned food, a lifeline in a world where the concept of a meal had become a luxury. As hours turned into days, John learned to navigate this new world. He learned to ration food, to sleep with one eye open, to listen for the slightest rustle that could signal danger. There was no room for error. Every decision was a matter of life and death. Yet, amidst the fear and the struggle, there was an underlying sense of confusion. Why were they still alive? Why had they been spared when everything else had been obliterated? These questions haunted John, echoing in the hollow silence of the night. The world was a dark stage, and they, the last remaining players. As they tiptoed around, trying to survive, they were all acutely aware of one thing. In the pitch black, there was only one certainty: we were not supposed to be alive. When the dust settled, a new world emerged from the ruins of the old. A world stripped of its digital heartbeat, laying bare the raw essence of human survival. Our protagonist found herself in this untouched reality, a world where every sunrise was a victory, every meal an achievement, and every night a testament to survival. The struggle was real as the ashes under her feet and the stark sky above. Food was scarce, safe water, a luxury. She found herself scavenging, hunting, forging alliances with the few who had survived the fiery rain. She learned to navigate this new terrain, a far cry from the comfort of her once digital life. She became a hunter, a gatherer, a survivor. She learned to read the sky, the winds, and the silence. She discovered the language of the earth, the whispers of the forest. She learned to live by the golden rule of survival: adapt or perish. Her resilience was her shield, her will to survive her weapon. She clung to life with an iron grip, refusing to let go, refusing to surrender to the desolate reality. She found strength in her solitude, wisdom in her struggle, and a newfound respect for life and its fragile beauty. She forged a new existence in this post-apocalyptic world, a life that was a constant battle against the odds. But she was not alone. She found companionship in the few who had survived, a community of resilient souls, bound by the shared experience of surviving the apocalypse. Together, they built a new society from the ashes of the old, a society that valued life, embraced the simple joys, and celebrated the miracle of survival. The apocalypse had stripped away the veneer of civilization, revealing the raw, primal essence of humanity. It was a world where every breath was a gift, every day a blessing, every moment a miracle. 10 years later, we still wake up to eerie silences, but we are alive. Against all odds, we survived the end of the world. From the ruins of the old world, a new dawn broke. A dawn that bore the testament of resilience and the spirit of survival. We, the survivors, took it upon ourselves to rebuild, to reshape, to rekindle the flame of civilization. We salvaged whatever we could from the remnants of the past, using it to construct our present and to dream of a future. We found solace in each other, our shared experiences binding us together, stronger than any material force could. Our community, born out of the ashes of despair, became our beacon of hope. Our struggles birthed innovations, our necessities mothered inventions. We learned to harness the wind, the sun, the tides. We learned to cultivate the earth, to nurture life from its bosom. We learned to respect life, every form of it, for we understood its preciousness. We became the architects of a new world, a world where every life mattered, where every voice counted. Our society was not perfect, far from it, but it was real, it was ours, it was home. And as we gazed at the starlit sky, we couldn't help but marvel at our journey. From the brink of extinction to the threshold of a new era, we had come a long way. Yes, we still wake up to eerie silences, we still grapple with the ghosts of our past, but we are alive. We survived. And in that survival, we found our victory, our redemption. So here's to us, the survivors. Here's to our journey, our struggle, our victory. Here's to the world we lost and the world we built. Here's to life in all its brutal beauty. 10 years later, we still remember. We remember the world we lost and we cherish the world we have. We remember, we learn, we adapt, we grow, we survive, we rise. We hope you enjoyed this journey with us. If you did, please subscribe and like for more such stories of survival, resilience, and hope. Remember, we are survivors. We are the architects of our destiny. Stay strong, stay resilient. Until next time, keep surviving.